Hello everyone, how are you all doing out there? I'm Kate Hill, bringing you the best unbiased and honest content on property, along with fantastic hints and tips. Stay tuned today for all your latest property news. The NAB has joined the ranks of organisations revising their property price predictions for 2023. While initially it had not been as bullish, NAB's latest outlook now predicts prices will rise by 4.7% this year and a further 5% in 2024. It predicts that the biggest increases will be in Sydney, of course, up 6.9% this year and 4.9% next year, while it says Melbourne is likely to rise by 2% this year and 7.4% next year. In 24, Brisbane prices are tipped to rise by 5.4% this year, 2.9% next year. Adelaide values are tipped to rise 3% this year and 3.7% this year. It's almost boring in its predictability itself of always undermining Adelaide, which has outperformed everywhere so far this last 18 months. Perth prices are expected to rise 6% this year and 6.2% next year, while Hobart prices are expected to rise 6.4% this year and remain steady in 2024. The bank is also predicting that interest rate rises will soon stop. I quote, "We see the RBA lifting rates to 4.6% by September, then staying on hold until 2024, their predictions say." If we could only all have that same crystal ball. Capital city house prices are continuing to recover, with dwelling values up in Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide and Perth in the June quarter. Let me just tell you that Adelaide and Perth had no reason to recover because they've never actually gone down. The Real Estate Institute of New South Wales's president says that all population centres showed increases in average dwelling values by more than 2%. He says that both the renter and sales market are savagely affected by a lack of stock. "I've never seen anything like it in 33 years, he says. He says that Sydney in particular enjoyed hefty increases in dwelling values in the June quarter. CoreLogic figures show Sydney's median dwelling value rose 4.9% in the June quarter. Brisbane rose 3% and Melbourne rose 1.8%. Adelaide's median dwelling value rose by 2.1% in the June quarter, Perth 2.8% and Hobart 0.1%. Darwin's median dwelling value dropped by 0.3% in the June quarter, although it rose again by 0.5% in June. CoreLogic research director says that while housing values are continuing to increase, the pace of growth has eased a little bit. Market sentiment has improved in most states according to the latest NAB housing market update. The June 23 update for the second quarter of the year shows that sentiment is highest in Western Australia, followed by solid increases in South Australia, Adelaide and Perth, Victoria and also New South Wales and Queensland, hardly anywhere left. It still remains weak in the ACT and Tasmania. The update surveys leading property professionals about their perspective of how the market is performing. The update says with Australia still experiencing very low rental vacancies and strong demand for rental properties, and property professionals expect rents to remain elevated. It predicts rental growth will outpace home value growth. Survey expectations for rents are most positive in most states for the next 1 to 2 years, with expectation rents will rise highest in Victoria, although new proposed rental caps are currently under debate / already going through. The report shows sales to residential investors fell by 15% in the second quarter of the year, to levels which are below those at the start of 2022. And finally, segueing quite nicely, I have to keep saying it in the hope that someone out there who matters will listen. Attacking investors and threatening their ability to charge the rent that they want will not help fix the rental crisis. Developer Harry Triguboff agrees. Now, he is the managing director of the Meriton Group, and he says that the hysterical reaction to current rent rates has to stop. Our famous politicians now think that if they attack the people who lease property, who provide rental properties, they will gain votes. Tryggeboff says that it's important to know that rents have moved no more than inflation if we take into account the rent drops during COVID. For those 2 years, the renters had a ball, of course, because many foreigners left. There was an immediate oversupply of rental accommodation. He says now the market is returning to normal supply and demand. I'd say perhaps not quite, but if the government threatens investors daily that they will charge too much, what investors will ever come here? Tryggeboff says that the lack of investors means that many of his sales in his projects are to owner-occupiers. So the pressure is on for rents to rise because, of course, we continue to create a shortage of rental properties during a time of increasing demand. Now, I will, of course, keep you posted on all things property from around Australia as our year progresses. If you are enjoying all the free content, then please don't forget to hit the subscribe and the like button, and I will see you all again really soon. Bye.